Okay.
Husband, I don't know, do you know him?
I know him, yes.
Ready? Ready. Oh, we're on the air. All right, we're going to meeting back to order. Whoa.
Watch out, on the air. Okay, welcome to the Queen Anne's County Commissioners Meeting. This is a public meeting that is being aired live on our local cable television station, QACTV 7. These media broadcasts provide county citizens an opportunity to watch and review our scheduled public meetings. In addition to our live audience this evening, we are providing remote options for citizens to watch and participate in county commissioner meetings. Citizens may watch our meeting live on our website at qac.org/live or on our television channel, Breezeline Channel 7 and High Definition Channel 507. Citizens may also participate by joining the live Zoom meeting by going to qac.org/public comment. Citizens may also email comments to publiccomment@qac.org. Comments received will be summarized during the press and public comment period on this evening's agenda. We acknowledge everyone's participation, and by attending, you acknowledge that this session is both recorded and aired. Press and public comment will be taken and is limited to 3 minutes per person. If you do care to speak, please sign up on the information table in our lobby. Comments longer than 3 minutes can be submitted in writing for the Commissioner's review. We will now stand to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Commission President Jim Moran.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that brings us to the approval of tonight's agenda. So we have an agenda for tonight's meeting, May the 28th, along with the regular session minutes, the closed session minutes, the Sanitary Commission minutes, and the roads minutes from May 14th. They've all been circulated for review. We've also circulated the budget hearing minutes from May 20th, 21st, and 22nd for review. Do we have any additions or corrections?
Both in the book. Make a motion to accept the agenda and the minutes as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
All right, thank you, Commissioners. So we just had a closed session under the General Provisions Article Section 3305B7 to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. No decisions were made in the closed session. That brings us to press and public comment. We appreciate all citizens for taking time to express views to the county commissioners. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments longer than 3 minutes can be submitted in writing. This commission respects your desire and right to convey your message freely. When you come forward, please speak clearly at the standing microphone, state your name and your topic of interest, and in keeping with the dignity of our office, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner.
We have Emerson McWilliams as the first person to sign up.
Good evening. My name is Emerson Williams, and I live in Grayson. I'm a student under Queen Anne's County Public Schools, and I came here today to talk about lowering the voting age in the county to 16 for just school board elections. To start off, the Maryland state law already allows cities in Maryland to pass this charter amendment to lowering the voting age only in local elections as long as your city council votes yes. The cities who have already passed this law in Maryland are Greenbelt, Hyattsville, Mount Rainier, Riverdale Park, and Tacoma Park. From that being said, those places in Maryland said the policy was proven to be successful. Aside from that, there have been studies showing 16-year-olds have enough civic knowledge as 18-year-olds do. In high school, you're required to take a government class, normally your 10th grade year. By lowering the voting age would allow us to directly apply what we learn in government class to our communities. I know there are students who are on the school board, but in the end, we don't get to give feedback or have a say in what they have to say. We deserve to be heard by our officials just as much as anyone. We are affected by our local school issues as much as anyone else. The Board of Ed directly impacts us more than anyone else, so why shouldn't we get to have a say? If we are old enough to get a job, to pay taxes, and to be able to drive, shouldn't we get a say in our school issues? Thank you, and I hope you can.
Good job, Emerson. All right, Emerson, stay right there. So you're lucky here. So you have Delegate Jacobs here as one of your elected representatives, and then Mr. Briano here is one of the best lobbyists in the state of Maryland. So they might be able to give, maybe my niece can get some input from you guys on how she can go about this. This is part of her government class project from high school. All right. Thanks, Emerson.
Thank you.
That's all who signed up. Would anybody else like to speak at this time? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Marissa Bartle.
I'm sorry, your name, I'm sorry?
Marissa Bartle.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm really bad with microphones.
Thank you.
I got to stick to a script or else. Whew. All right, I'm here to speak on behalf of the Beach Road project at Ken Island Estates. The Beach Road project should be addressed before the next budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Set to resolve the issue now so as to not kick the can down the road. It appears to be an ongoing conversation since 2016, and significant time and money has been spent on studies and obtaining grants, yet leaving a crucial stakeholder out of the loop, such as the applicant, which appears to be a forgery of sorts. Something does absolutely need to be done to preserve the beach road, and I respect the wishes of those residents who would like to upgrade it to county standards. I also think that it's important to address the obvious issue that revetment hasn't worked in the past, and it's changed the hydrodynamics of the coastline and not for the better. The odds that it will save a road because of one area is not pretty high. It's not high at all. The increase of the diffracted waves and disturbed littoral drift that has caused road washout will continue to do so, and I don't see a small beach being an end-all be-all to solve this problem. I have pictures and video of storm from December 2022 and simply of a windy day yesterday, and you can see where the diffracted waves are hitting and washing out the road. I cannot imagine that an engineering company would not provide more than one plan or option to protect the beach or the road. I would urge the commissioners and the Department of Public Works and the residents of Beach Road to consider other options. I also urge the commissioners and Public Works that all plans that were drawn and shared at the private meeting with the residents of Beach Road be shared with all the other stakeholders, such as properties that align with the road, such as Lawson Hockman on 362 Oregon Road and Patricia Egerton on 242 Maryland Road. I hope that collaborative agreement can be reached that's mutually beneficial for both the maintenance of the upgraded road and the longevity of the community beach. It's also my understanding that the use of breakwaters has been used in several communities in Annapolis and have been proven to not only protect, but build back and fortify their beaches, thus saving the road and helping the environment. I have to imagine that an engineering firm would also propose those plans, since the recommended method from DNR is to protect waterfront property and build back beaches. Seeing that the money to conduct the study was funding by tax dollars, I would also ask that it be released to the public, since this is a project unlike other private roads in the county road conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak?
Did you get a chance to read it all?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so if you want to give it to Margaret Hargy, and she'll make sure that she makes copies and we get it.
All right, excellent. I'm long-winded, so I'm going to know the time. I'll make sure they get it. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me? Okay, thank you.
Our email comes from Barbara Dawson from Stevensville, Maryland. I am writing in support of the continued pursuit of the Recreation Center in Queen Anne's County. Our children, youth, and adults could all benefit from a variety of activities this space could provide. Not everyone has the budget to afford a gym or YMCA membership, nor can either provide the comprehensive multi-use space that is needed in Queen Anne's County. The initial rec center study has been so well conducted, and I look forward to the results. Please approve the A&E budget item for 2025's budget and get the county one step closer to an amazing opportunity for everyone. That's all.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? All right. I guess I'm going to speak in press and public comment. What do you think, Phil?
Go for it.
All right. So,
Look at the horror on Margie's face.
so those that do not know, Miss Margie, this is her last meeting sitting in that chair after a couple years of working here, right? So we've got a proclamation 24-09. Whereas Margie A. Hauk became employed with the Queen Anne's County Department of County Commissioners as a part-time receptionist effective August 20th, 1991. So do the math. Whereas Miss Margie was promoted from a part-time receptionist to a full-time clerk typist 1 effective August 1, 1992. And whereas Miss Margie was promoted from a clerk typist 1 to a clerk typist 2 effective July 1, 1983. And whereas Miss Margie was reclassified from a clerk typist 2 to a clerk typist 3 effective July 1, 1997. You do a lot of typing.
Moved up that ladder pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You were happy when that computer came in there. Yeah. Okay, whereas Miss Margie was promoted from clerk typist 3 to clerk to the county commissioners effective July 22nd, 1998. Whereas Miss Margie was reclassified from the clerk to the county commissioners to the executive assistant to the county commissioners effective December 22nd, 1999. And whereas Miss Margie always enjoyed working with the county commissioners of Queen Anne's County, especially some of us special ones.
Until now.
I like the special.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like the whole kind of different kind of special.
Different kind of
right?
special there.
Let's see here. And whereas Miss Margie Hauk is proud to have served the citizens of Queen Anne's County for over 30 years, and whereas Miss Margie enjoyed sharing her exceptional skills and abilities maintaining the office of the county commissioners, working with county employees, directors, and outside agencies, and hosting officials and other dignitaries visiting the county. We won't talk about any of the dignitaries that went to Mako and didn't have a room, but we'll leave that alone. Now, therefore, we, the county commissioners of Queen Anne's County, wish Miss Margie a very well-deserved and earned retirement that will be effective September 1, 2024, as the executive assistant for the county commissioners of Queen Anne's County. Signed, your county commissioners.
Years.
Well, I don't want to say this in a negative way, but you're a dying breed. Your loyalty to the county and your commitment to the county, ladies and gentlemen, you can't ask for anything more than that. And when I came here, some of the things we looked at for our employees that were here for 5, 10, 15, 25 years, we give a whole lot more than a watch. So, and a big thank you. And you live down the street, so if I see you pass my street, I'm going to be upset. So, anytime, you're more than welcome. And I'm glad to see Wayne's at home making dinner. So that's a good thing. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie.
Thank you, Margie. Thank you.
And then I'll have one other announcement. That's reference to the Board of Education and their budget. The commissioners took a poll, and we've decided to up the budget $1.2 million. They were asking for 2.4, but we're going to fund half of that, and hopefully they can right the ship, and everybody moves forward. So, very well. Press and public comment is closed. We're rolling on.
All right, commissioners, thank you very much. We can move into the presentations portion of tonight's meeting. So if you want to turn to tab number 6. The first presentation is from none other than Delegate Jay Jacobs. He is here with a citation for the Queen Anne's County High School wrestling team. I understand they're state champions, so Delegate Jacobs, would you come on up here, please, and bring your all your guests. This is great. Yeah.
All right, could we have the wrestling team come forward? And the coaches?
And the coaches. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. All get assembled in the parking lot.
You guys can get this side too. Balance the room out.
say that.
This isn't even everybody.
Anyhow, this is indeed one of the great honors of being in the House of Delegates and be able to present a citation like this, especially to the state champion. And unfortunately, my colleague Steve Aarons couldn't be here tonight, but we're a team, Team 36, so I'm filling in. You got the best tonight.
Steve who?
Yeah, that's right, Steve Aarons. But I do have a letter I'd like to read from Steve and also present an official citation from the Maryland General Assembly. So the letter from Steve is, Dear Coach Stricker and members of the Queen Anne's County High School wrestling team, congratulations on winning the Maryland Public Secondary School Sports Athletic Association Girls Wrestling State Championship. You will be forever acclaimed as the first ever girls wrestling team champions in the state of Maryland. Your dedication and teamwork have earned you this place in history. I am honored to present you with a Maryland General Assembly official citation to commemorate your historic achievement. Sincerely, Stephen Aarons. So congratulations with the letter from Steve, and now I have the official general citation. Oh, you want to come in on this? And so this is a Maryland General Assembly official citation. Be it hereby known to all that sincerest congratulations are offered to Queen Anne's County High School Girls Varsity Wrestling in recognition of winning the first ever Maryland Public School Sports Activities Association Girls Wrestling State Championship. Presented on this first day of May 2024, even though today is the 28th, on behalf of Queen Anne's County delegation, signed by Delegate Stephen J. Aarons, Chair, and also on here is Senator Stephen Hershey, Delegate Jefferson Grace, and myself, Delegate Jay Jacobs. So congratulations. Put that in there to keep it.
So can we get a picture? Someone get that? Yep, she's already got us.
Up here now.
I guess we're gonna come down there, right?
Come in a little closer.
Okay, squeeze in and we'll stand behind you guys.
You only got one side going.
Come on, Jay. Come on, Jay.
Let's go now.
One last hurrah for Julie. What?
All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
So, before you exit, Delaney Gray? Where's Delaney? She didn't make it here.
She had to work, yeah.
Okay.
Give the coach one.
And Julia, so this is the Queen Anne's County crest pin that we wear. So you'll be graduating tomorrow. So if you'll wear that on your gown, give that to Delaney who's not here. I look forward to seeing you guys graduate tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thanks for
Delegate.
coming down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
See ya.
Right. Well, that was a tough act to follow, but I have just the presenter to do that. I'd like to introduce Mr. Bruce Bariano with the end of the General Assembly wrap-up presentation. Item 2, tab 6, item 2, page 2.
And he has nothing but great news for us.
All great news, that's right.
It's a very hard act to follow, not only that, but also Ms. Hauk, who, again, thank you personally for all your kindnesses to me during my incredible time with the commissioners. I really mean it. Chairman, members of the commission, the record, Bruce Bariano, registered lobbyist for Queen Anne's County, and before I get started, again, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love representing this county, I really do. I've been doing it for several years, and I love working with all of you, and I really thank you for the opportunity you give me to represent you. I worked obviously very actively with your state senator and your 3 delegates. You know they're a team. We all worked very effectively together. Hopefully you received each Friday and then at the end of the session a list of various bills that I thought should be monitored and I relied upon, and I hope I was correct. You're contacting me individually or collectively as to any particular bills you wanted me to do anything in particular or very special. If I could run through just a few things, happy to answer any questions that you may have. One of the bills with your county administrator came on over, and we had a very effective hearing, was on the abandoned boat bill. There was a House bill and a Senate bill, and legislation was passed, which is really going to be tremendous. Work very closely with Delegate Ahrens. It's a bill, Sarah Elfreth, the senator, had her bill in. She's going off to Congress, but she passed the bill, and it incorporates a lot of Delegate Ahrens' bill, but also creates something in Maryland in this bill that is in other states, but never in Maryland, where the Department of Natural Resources, at their own effort and expense, if you call, they will, just like some other states do, they will come pick up and collect your abandoned boat. No cost, no obligation to you, and dispose of it for you. That exists in other jurisdictions. That was incorporated into this legislation. I know it's a real problem. Your county administrator testified very effectively about it. And I think that provision plus other actions, we worked with the Department of Natural Resources to give better labeling and information so we can really track abandoned boats. I think it's a very strong beginning. Please, if I'm sure I'll hear from your administrator, but please, if it continues after the bill takes effect this July, the governor signed it. There's any further problems or tweaking that's needed, please let us know, because during the course of the hearing, other counties spoke up. Baltimore County, some other counties that have similar problems as well. So it's something that really will meaningful help out. And DNR was extremely cooperative. They met with us and your county administrator. So that was one of the bills. There was a bill in that I testified against on behalf of the county and some other counties that was put in by MSTAT that would have completely reorganized the offices. As you know, every county now there is a tax assessment office for the benefit of the people and what have you. There was a bill in the House and Senate to create regional areas, which would have really been very inconvenient for a number of constituents and people and what have you. That bill got an unfavorable report in the House and in the Senate. I testified against it along with other people. Mako was very much against it as well, so that was killed. That was the idea of the former administrator of MSTAT. He is no longer there, so respectfully, I don't think you'll see that proposal again next session or anything like that. Speaking of next session, unfortunately, you will see a bill next session, but I assure you not to worry about it at all. It's a bill that was in last session, and that was put in by a former county commissioner in Carroll County, now a House delegate, to really force the counties such as Queen Anne's and others to change their form of government. You all know better than I, you can do it without any legislation from Annapolis. I know you've had a referendum a number of years ago, getting the will of the people. I understood through emails that he reached out to you all, and I tried as politely as possible to say no.
I think you were effective, because after your email, I don't think we heard from him again.
Well, Commissioner, I try to be polite. I mean, I really did, because everything I do and say reflects you all. And but he's going to put it back in again, both the bill and the constitutional amendment. With your permission, I will be there and we'll, fight it. But it's not going to go anywhere. It's not. I mean, everybody was up in arms, and I understand. I'll just say, without spending a lot more time, that when he was a county commissioner, he tried to do it in Carroll County, and couldn't get it done, so he thought that by running for the House of Delegates, he could get it done at the state level. Well, it just, so I just mentioned that to you, but, you know, don't worry about that at all. And then there was the cannabis bill, which did pass, and it does incorporate as much as possible some of the restrictions and leverage. I'm growing very concerned. I just, if I can say, I'm seeing, as you know, I represent a couple of counties. I'm very honored and privileged, and I see a growing move by the state legislature to really, I think personally, interfere with county government authority, not only in this area, in the solar area, in other areas as well. And I know some of your colleagues in the other counties that I work with are very concerned about it. It's under the guise of climate change and of solar and of, in this case, cannabis and what have you. And I very respectfully recommend that as you interact with your colleagues at MACO, and perhaps with MML, if you don't mind my saying, just sort of combining local governments to show that you really are the fabric of the state of Maryland at the first level, really come together in some unity. And I just see a growing trend, and I think it needs to be addressed more forcefully and more comprehensively by local governments. I hope you don't mind my bringing that to your attention. I see it in these areas, and I just don't think I think it's trampling on governmental authority at the local level and everything.
Right.
I was with the mayor and city council of Ocean City this morning, making a presentation there. They wanted me to thank you all for the letter you did in support of their legislation as one of the counties. They appreciated very much that bill passed, and it's just enabling, as you know, and they are very grateful.
That's the hotel tax bill?
Doing that letter from that standpoint. And then lastly, Todd Bone came to Board of Public Works, which I think was great. Everything's all finalized with the land you got, the 80 odd acres. That's a beautiful chunk of money, of land. I mean, that really is right smack in the middle of the county. And I'm waiting to get my gift, which I think is one of the trays.
Oh, it's more than a gift.
Oh, is it? No, maybe I should have brought it up.
You got a big family, right?
Bruce, forgetting the county, 86 acres? 86?
Yeah.
For what, $1? What was it?
$1.
It was
$1, yes.
Where the old detention center was,
Yes.
or pre-release.
Yes.
We're gonna award you these plastic trays for you to
Slightly
have.
used.
Thank you very much.
Slightly used, slightly used.
Yes.
I deeply appreciate it.
You worked hard for those trays, and
I
we
really
appreciate
did.
that.
I don't know where the bowls went and the big.
We'll find them.
But,
We'll find
but thank you very, very much. Please keep me posted as you're working with MES. Thank you. I really, that's very kind of you all. They're going to be used.
So as a backstory, folks, those are trays from the prison, the
Pre-release.
pre-release prison that,
We went on a tour, and ever since then, Bruce had his eyes on them, so.
I like momentum.
Absolutely, yeah.
But on that point, I'm meeting this Friday with Dr. Glass, on various matters. As that continues, I understand you all are working with him on the water and sewerage and what have you. But again, if there's something I need to do, communicating with him and assisting in that regard, please let me know. But I think it's a...
Do a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Need your help on that, yeah.
But it's I'm going to see him this Friday, so if you want me to do a follow-up call or anything tomorrow or the next day...
Todd will brief you.
I'll make sure I do that. But it's I'm so happy for the county. I mean, that's a big chunk of land, right?
Absolutely.
Right smack there, which you can utilize. And in that regard, and again, talking to your administrator, I know the legislature took away monies that had been previously allocated for the detention center. But took it away because it could be used elsewhere right now.
Right.
But I'm very confident that that will be replaced, you know, when you are ready. I know we had talked about that. There were various appropriations, but in light of the change of circumstances and your different approach on things, it'll be done that way. And I'm glad that all worked out, as well as the landfill issue, you know, as well. It worked out very well. So it's an active, a busy session. I will say in closing, and they didn't ask me to say this, and I'm not trying to butter up anybody or what have you, but you really have an excellent pair of legislators, senator and 3 delegates. I see all the legislators, and the 4 of them in particular work extremely well together. They're a unit. It's all about getting it done. There are just and that's to the benefit of not just this county, but the other counties that they represent as well. But I think you know that, but I just, you know, I see them when the lights are off and the cameras are off, and they're working very hard for the citizens of Queen Anne's County. They really are doing very nicely. So be happy to answer any questions you have. And again, I just thank you for your friendship, for your professional confidence in me, and I'm yours as long as you want me.
Bruce, thank you very much.
Bruce, on thank you for the work on the abandoned boats. We had 2, right, that we were out trying to get passed. The one that didn't make it through was House Bill 293. So I've been meeting with some citizens for a while now, and that's what sort of was the genesis of that legislation. And I think they're still interested in the county trying to pursue that in the next legislative session. So I'll be reaching out to you to find out what we can do to maybe change that a little bit so that it will have a better fate.
That was House Bill 293.
293, I believe, is the one. Yeah,
I've got my list here.
It was with when there are boats that are moored up to unregistered pilings, and if they're moored there, I think for more than 60 days or something, that it would be deemed abandoned at that point, because there are a lot of boats that will tie up, and just for recreational, not commercial boats, so it wouldn't apply to watermen or anything like that.
Commissioner, the DNR was very cooperative.
Yeah.
They really were. We had good meetings, and I think it's something we can build on.
So we can
further.
talk with them again for the next
and
session.
particularly, as I said, not trying to reiterate so much, is there are other counties that similarly will support it. Baltimore County, St. Mary's County as well. So I'll make a note to, you know, after
as we get close to the next legislative session, we'll be
Labor Day,
revisiting
I'll reach
it.
out to you on that. Definitely
I appreciate
will.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be going after those Red X cameras for sure. So we will definitely be working on that. You got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Thank you.
As I have dinner every night, I will be thinking.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
I'll let you know. All right, Commissioners, we're just a little bit ahead of the public hearing posted time at 6:05, so we can do the next presentation. I think Mr. Quimby was approached. This is item number 3 in your section tab 6 by Amerisol Solar.
Amoresco.
Amoresco, okay. So you want to come on up and? It's all right. We can't start before 6:05, so we'll go ahead and do this presentation next. So I guess there's a presentation in your books, and we do have the presentation up on the screen. We'll in a hearing right after this presentation.
Commissioners, this is Paul Spencer. Is it? How do you say your company?
Amoresco.
Amoresco.
If you recall, about over 3 years ago, NextAmp approached us with a similar situation where they would supply our facilities with power out of a solar array that they would build, and they would reduce the action of the solar array would reduce our electric bills upwards around 10%. So we're still tied up with NextAmp, but Amoresco took the rest of the accounts that the county has. And to give you some perspective, the county spent $1.9 million on electric last fiscal year. So it's an expense. It's not going to go away. It's only going to increase. So when somebody approaches me or the county and says, hey, I can save you a little bit of money on your electric expense, I feel compelled to push it to you. So take it away.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the introduction. So the opportunity that Amoresco is presenting to the county is essentially, I'll take you through kind of step by step here. The first is it allows the county to subscribe to a 2.8 megawatt facility. This will be built in Elkton. It's currently in the planning stages. And it does that at no cost to the county. So the county spends nothing on this. It's all paid for by Amoresco as the developer. The second piece of it then, as Alan was saying, is that it saves you 10% on all of the power that's generated by that facility. That comes off the top of your bill, so whatever power provider you use doesn't matter. You can continue to search out the lowest cost provider. The community solar just comes off the top. And this is done on the third item. This is done under a state program under the state of Maryland called the Aggregate Net Metering Program, or an ANEM, which is set up specifically for municipalities, nonprofits, and agricultural organizations. So corporate entities cannot participate in this particular program. Finally, all of the energy is produced off-site. As I said, it'd be in Elkton, so about 40 miles north. No panels are installed on the county's facilities or the county's land. And again, it's at no cost to you to maintain or operate, et cetera. That's all done by Amoresco. So simply put, it's essentially credits are applied to the city's utility bills by this facility under the state program, all being maintained by Amoresco, and you get a 10% discount to those credits being provided. So the estimate, along with Alan's help as well as your energy consultant, is essentially between $35,000 and $40,000 per year as far as savings on a 25-year term. Those savings would go up if power costs go up, which has been the trend. But even conservatively, we estimate that's a little over $1 million of savings over that period of time. Again, you pay for nothing, and you only pay for savings when you actually receive those savings. So there's no possibility you pay more than, or actually more than 90%, a 10% discount to the credits being provided to your utility bill. As far as Amoresco is a public company, a couple $1 billion energy provider, very experienced at these types of facilities, has been in the community solar realm throughout the country for about 8 years. So a lot of experience there developing these types of facilities, and has developed other similar facilities throughout the state of Maryland. One in particular last year for another nonprofit entity in the town of Frederick. So that's actually undergoing right now as far as the construction and so forth. So overall, just come with you to a proposition to support clean energy, but also more so just an opportunity to reduce the electrical costs for the city of Queen Anne's. I'm sorry, for the county. Any questions?
Yeah, you lost me on this one. You're not going to put any panels in Queen Anne's County,
Correct.
but you're going to give Queen Anne's County 10% off their electric bill.
Correct.
Want to buy a car?
Thinking, okay.
Which is next stamp same way. They're building in Cecil County as well. They do have one in Woods Road, but that's not the one we're participating on. The one they're building is at Cecil County as well.
But where your panels are, that's just going to feed the grid.
It's correct. All of these, under this ANEM program, the Aggregate Net Metering Program, you can put it anywhere within the utility's jurisdiction. So it just has to be within Delmarva utility, be able to serve you as your local utility. And it all gets fed directly into the grid. So it's essentially a structure set up specifically for cities, municipalities, counties, et cetera, that might not need or be able to build a facility, for instance, in town on their property, maintain those panels, et cetera. This allows you to do it anywhere throughout the utility and then get the benefit of those.
So you would be our supplier of electric, and we would just get a 10%.
It would be a portion of our supplier. We still get the majority through Washington Gas Energy Services as we do now. We would get all, yeah.
Yeah, you would get, correct. You'd get all your supply through whomever you select. It would not be us. This is just a program that provides credits based on energy produced, and that then it provides a discount to the supply that you've selected. So it just comes off the top as a discount.
I signed up for Nexamp at my personal home, and I think I'm saving money. Honestly.
It's basically commodity trading.
Yeah.
You're trading a commodity off at a discounted rate that you're getting the return, and the return is then shared with whoever is part of the cooperative, I guess would be the.
That's correct.
I mean, I don't see any downside other than I have to track it, which I'm not looking for because DeMarva can barely generate bills, just generate a bill, period. And when you add another wrinkle to it, I'm not looking forward to that, but I don't know that we shouldn't pursue it because of that.
You need anything from us, or?
Well, if you want to pursue it, yeah, you'll have to sign your name a few times next time we meet. Patrick's already reviewed the agreements, various license agreements and power purchase agreements, et cetera.
Need a motion?
We don't need a motion. If you want to proceed, we can have them prepare all the legal documents and they can come in.
Have a motion at the next meeting?
And do the motion and execute the paperwork at the next meeting if you like.
That's
Let's say we go a year or two and we're not getting the 10% discount that you're talking about. We can opt out, right?
Yeah, no, it's a long-term commitment, but if it's not producing power, yes, it's in the agreement that you can opt out if it's not producing
Well, it'll be
power.
producing something.
So, yeah, typically these facilities of this size are either producing or not producing. So if it's producing power, you'll get the 10% savings guaranteed because that's how the contract is written. If it's not producing, then you have that option. You know, if it's, for example, in your other opportunity with Nexamp, if we're 3 years later and it isn't producing, you have the option to opt out and say, hey, this hasn't worked out. It's not, provided the benefit.
How many years was that, you said, for the opt-out?
In the Nexamp example that you were referring to earlier, I think it's been 3 years since they contracted that with you, but it hasn't yet produced power, which I can assure you in this case is already under development. This array is expected to come online about this time next year.
Where exactly is it in Cecil County?
In Elkton. Oh, I don't know the road as far as in Elkton.
Are there other counties that are doing this besides Cecil County?
Yes.
The offer that you're making us?
Yes.
Which other county?
Sorry, are there other counties that are subscribing to this? Not with our particular company, I don't know. Other counties that have done it with our company, I know there aren't any. I believe there are with other companies. We aren't the only company. Anybody can operate under this.
So we'd be the first county?
The first county. We have already done a similar arrangement with the city of Frederick, which is for 3 of these facilities, so about 3 times the size of power consumption as what would be discussed here.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, me too.
Questions? Okay. All right.
All right.
Cost us anything, only savings.
All right. Well, you can draw up the agreements and bring it back for the next meeting.
Thanks, Paul.
Quimby.
Right.
Yeah, be great.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Here.
All right, Commissioners, we can move, we have 2 public hearings. So if you want to turn to tab number 7 under legislation. First public hearing is the Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan Amendment hearing. We had a public information meeting at our last work session on this property, which is at 14110 Roman Coke Road, just north of the Mattapique Estates. This is in Phase 4 of the Southern Kent Island service area, and they want to increase public sewer service from no plan service S6 to S2 when service is available. So, Mr. Thompson here will...
This is a public hearing being held by the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, 6 p.m. Tuesday, May 28, 2024. The County Commissioners Meeting Room, Liberty Building, 107 North Liberty Street, Centerville, Maryland. Purpose of the hearing is to consider amending the Queen Anne's County 2011 Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan. An informal presentation was made at 6:45 on Tuesday, May 14th in the Commissioners Meeting Room. The proposal being considered is Gem 3 Real Properties LLC. This property is currently improved with a single-family dwelling located at 1410 Roman Coke Road in Stephenville. It's shown on tax map 63 as parcel 123, is approximately 10.8 acres in size and is zoned neighborhood conservation 5 acres, NC5. Property is currently served by a a documented failing on-site septic disposal system, and the remaining soils on the site are deemed to be unsuitable for a replacement system. The proposal is to amend the property from S6, no plan service, to S2, service on demand, with an L designation of limited development, which would require any intensification on the site other than a replacement of the existing home be required to re-amend the plan. The amendment will allow the property to eventually connect to the immediately adjacent Mattapique Estates subdivision, which is part of the Southern Canal Sanitary Project Phase 4. Flows are anticipated to be 250 gallons per day. Copies of the proposed amendment have been available at the Office of the County Commissioners and electronically by sending a request to aquimby@qac.org. All hearing sites are accessible to individuals with disabilities. Sign language interpreters and assistive listening systems are available. Person who wishes to comment on the proposed amendment may do so at the hearing. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each, but written testimony of any length can be submitted on or before the hearing to Director of Public Works, 312 Safety Drive, Centerville. Part of the record of the proceeding will be a certificate of publication indicating that notice of tonight's hearing was published for 2 consecutive weeks in the Bay Times, Record Observer, newspapers of general circulation in Queen Anne's County. Anybody signed? No one signed up to speak. Is there anyone here would like to make any public comment with respect to the proposed amendment?
That was easy.
So far.
It's basically one house, it's got a failing septic, so they want to connect to sewer, so people who are watching at home understand that's the basic
Correct.
what this is.
So there'll be one house there today, and there'll be one house there tomorrow.
Just won't be polluting the ground, it'll be going in the sewer.
My understanding is they've tried to find, I mean, it's a large parcel, but apparently none of the soils are suitable.
What do we need to
Close
do?
it or keep it open?
I mean,
I'm willing to vote on it.
yeah,
now.
I am too.
Yeah.
I mean, this
You need
is,
us to convene a sewer to vote?
excuse me?
Should we convene a sewer, sanitation?
Yeah, we need to,
This is actually
No, this is
general
an
government.
action item in hearing, so.
Oh, okay.
all right.
Forget what I said.
What is the hearing number? It doesn't have one then, huh? Well, I'm not reading that entire 3 paragraphs there. Let's see. I make a motion to accept the modification for Gem 3 Real Properties LLC sewer designation from S6 to S2.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? That covers everything, Alan?
That was Amendment 1122.
Right, 1122.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Get it hooked up?
All right.
By next week, can you get it hooked up?
The state has to, we have to send it to the state, and the state has to approve it, so.
Thank you.
All right. While Mr. Thompson's here, we do have a second legislative item. It's not a hearing. It's actually a new bill for introduction. County Ordinance 24-11. This is for interest on unpaid property tax for the purpose of establishing an interest charged on unpaid property tax in Queen Anne's County. We became recently aware of state law that requires our practice be in the law, so Mr. Thompson drafted this for consideration.
I'll introduce it.
And just so you know, it doesn't change what we're currently doing, doesn't increase the interest rate or anything. It's just codifies it in the county code, puts it in the county code. Right?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right. That is all the legislation we had for this evening. We have one final presentation. If you want to turn back to tab number 6, we have tab 6, item 4, Mr. Lamont Cook.
Gordon here?
Is supposed to be here for a update
Lamont out there?
on the Department of Corrections.
The action.
You might want to call him.
Well, we will.
EBD?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, moving right along. We have, if you want to switch over, we have a couple of action items, one for Public Works and then 4 for the County Commissioners. For
Tab
the
2?
General, tab 2. First one is tab 2 from the Admin Engineering Group. So tab 2, item 1, pages 1 and 2. This is for the Liberty Building roof replacement contract. We received bids for the Liberty Building roof replacement project. We received, looks like 6 bids ranging from $84,710,000 to over $180,000. And we are recommending the low bidder, RRH Associates LLC, for this contract.
Move to award the Liberty Building roof replacement contract to RRH Associates LLC of Huntingtown, Maryland, in the amount of $84,710, and authorize Director of Public Works to issue the notice of award and execute the contract on behalf of the County Commissioners.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One absent?
All right. Thank you, Commissioners. All right, now we have 4 action items this evening under tab 3. So if you want to flip over to tab number 3. Tab 3, item 1, page 1, we have Proclamation 2419, Emancipation, Recognition, and Giving Day.
All right. Proclamation 24-19. Whereas June 19, 1865 is considered the date when the last slaves in America were freed, when General Gordon Granger rode into Galveston, Texas, and issued General Orders Number 3 on June 19th, announcing the emancipation of enslaved Texans, almost 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Whereas the 19th of June, Juneteenth, became a day of jubilation and liberation for former slaves and is the nation's oldest known celebration of the ending of slavery in our nation, and it is celebrated in local African American communities throughout the country, and today emphasizes African American education, culture, art, history, and achievement. Whereas the Kennard Alumni Association and its community partners will celebrate Saturday, June 8th, 2024, as a day of commemoration by hosting a Juneteenth festival celebration and museum giving day, with a focus on the joys and values of freedom and community. A community festival will be held at Kennard African American Cultural Heritage Center, where local African American artists will perform, crafters will offer their wares, lecturers will educate, and guests will view and experience the exhibits chronicling African American history and the culture in Queen Anne's County. Whereas the African American community is encouraged to submit for donation or copying items and memorabilia to the Kennard African American Cultural Heritage Center and Museum, and to stand as lasting memorials of the contributions of the Black community to Queen Anne's County. Whereas this Juneteenth celebration is not only an African American milestone in our nation, but an opportunity to educate and dialogue with all citizens and reflect on our shared history in Queen Anne's County. Whereas Queen Anne's County regards and honors this immense contribution of our African American residents as leaders, mentors, advocates, and volunteers within families and churches in our community. Now, therefore, we, the County Commissioners of Queen Anne's County, do hereby dedicate June 8th, 2024 as Emancipation, Recognition, and Giving Day in Queen Anne's County, and urge all citizens to embrace the occasion and pause to reflect on the privileges of freedoms and the great contributions of the people of African descent to this nation and the world. And it's signed by all the county commissioners. And I would tell anybody if they're able to make it on June 8th, they should. I've been to the celebration probably every year since I've been commissioner. It's a great time, and there's a lot that you can learn inside the Kennard building as well. Yeah, I mean, they had the one about the shanty towns in Graceville. That was like really cool. People who, it's not just about the Narrows and Red Eyes. There's like real history for the Narrows that you can learn. So, okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Porcarino. Okay, item 2 on pages 2 through 7. This is a revised information technology policy. This revision to the Information and Communications Technology Department reflects changes to the access badge process that we've used since 2019.
This is to revoke Margie's access. Is that why we're doing it?
Precisely.
I move to adopt the revised identification access card policy to be effective June 6, 2024.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item 3 is on pages 8 through 17 is the Economic Development Commission bylaw revisions. So the Economic Development Commission assembled a subcommittee to look at updating their bylaws earlier this year. They voted unanimously to support changes to its bylaws to include adding an immediate past chair position to the executive board, establishing a nominating committee that will be chaired by the immediate past chair, as well as adding a definition of liaisons to the bylaws. So the last time these were amended was 2018.
Move to approve the proposed amendments to the Queen Anne's County Economic Development Commission bylaws for the adoption of Resolution 24-03.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners. Our final item is a letter to Governor Wes Moore outlining our opposition to the new measures from the Atlantic State Marine Fisheries Commission limiting the Atlantic striped bass bag limits.
I want to make a motion to sign the letter and send it to the governor with.
I'll second that.
Okay. What I'd like to do is highlight in there just as a little added at the end, just, we appreciate his time he spent with the ag industry. We'd extend the same.
Want me to modify that and then send something around on that part?
Yeah, just to extend an invitation to come out and visit with the watermen and kind of extend the same graciousness he did to our ag community to see, because I think certainly the treatment of the ag community in this last session was way different than what the watermen received. So
Very good.
appreciate any time you can give to them. The wordsmiths on it, we're good. So yes, but accept it with just that caveat of extending the invitation to come out and see the watermen.
All right.
So, should we give a brief, just exactly what's happened here and what this is?
Yeah.
For folks that don't know. So, there are new measures that came from the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, which is a faction, for lack of better terms, that's made up of some states, and they have reduced the catch limit of rockfish for our charter boat captains in Maryland from 2 fish to 1. And so the economic fallout from that, not just for our charter boat captains, but for Queen Anne's County, restaurants, hotels. We get folks that come from all over to fish for rockfish here in the Chesapeake Bay, and they book these charters with our charter boat captains. The result of this is the reduction in fish that can be kept has hurt the charter boat captains in the sense that the number of trips that have been booked so far is less than half. People aren't going to come down from Philly or Washington or Baltimore to spend the day out on the bay fishing for rockfish and get to keep one. So it's an adverse effect, not just, again, as I said, for our watermen, but for our local business establishments as well. So this is a letter hoping that we can get some traction and perhaps a reversal on their decision.
Also, it's not only the watermen, it's recreational. Everybody's only allowed one fish, and it has to be a slot fish between 19 and 25 inches.
Very narrow.
Yeah, so but I will say on the other side, the fishery is in trouble. I will acknowledge that. So I agree with the letter, but it's a problem, as the oysters are and the crabs and everything else.
But that's a product of something else going on too, and unfortunately, nobody else is doing anything. Maryland's the only one that's suffering. So,
yeah, that's true. Yep. So we have a motion and a second to sign the letter. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 5-0.
Sorry. Is there a fishery on the eastern shore to grow rockfish or
In a hatchery?
come into the
In a hatchery?
I'm aware of.
Horn Point is for the oysters. They used to have it for the rockfish. I'm not 100% sure.
I know there's one in, outside of Hagerstown, but I don't know of any on the eastern shore. Might be something to look into.
Thinking about growing rockfish when you say
Up in
business?
up in your neighborhood, yeah. Out back, we could put in a fishery, couldn't we?
Sure.
I'll ask Tracy.
I don't have anything else to do, so why not?
All right, thank you, Commissioners. That's all the action items I had for you this evening, and I will acknowledge that the warden is here now.
And
Warden
on
Cook.
time, by the way.
So, yeah,
We were a little early.
We're out of time.
Actually, he was,
in the house.
he's on time.
He was
We were
on
a little ahead
time.
of
He just
schedule.
wasn't here when.
Schedule.
We were a little ahead of schedule, yeah. So,
Which is
Warden Cook,
unusual for us, so.
you want to come on up and provide your update, please?
For all of you this evening.
We're doing
Good, how
just
you
fine.
doing?
Yeah.
Great. It's been a while since I've been before you. Okay.
So for the TV audience and the folks that are watching, why don't you do an introduction of who you are and your role?
Okay. My name is Lamont Cook. I am the Director of Correctional Services for Queen Anne's County since 1987. So, I've had a great career here in Queen Anne's. Also in Kent County, I was there as Chief Deputy for a number of years and decided to come down here and share my experience with the county. And,
You're very fortunate to have
You
you.
notice he's been 87, and Marge was 91, she's already quitting on us.
I know it. But, Mont, you get to be the last person to present something to Miss Margie.
That's an honor. That is
Yeah.
really an honor. I tell you, I won't take up a lot of time, but when I had to serve some time down here, not in the jail, but here.
That came out all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, I had to clarify that because I know one of you would have caught me with that. But anyhow.
Are those your initials in jail number 2?
There you go. There you go. But Margie, along with Linda Palmatori and Tina Miles, were a great support and help to me for that year and so many months that I was here. I was only supposed to be here 3 months and wound up here that long. But they were great helped guide me through some things. We had 1 or 2 touch and go situations, but we got through those, and it was a great experience. I'm glad I had that experience. So, Margie, I want to thank you. I wish you the best in your retirement. Going to miss you, but I just want to let you know how much you mean to me and a lot of other people. Okay. I will start off by letting you know that the Department of Corrections opening date was April 25th, 1988, about 36 years and 1 month ago. It started with 16 officers and 1 maintenance person. It's increased up to about 43 staff today, so that's quite a growth. And, I never thought the facility would get that big, and it's just grown ever since. At that time, the capacity of the facility was 80 beds. Then a modular unit was added to make it 104 beds, an old modular unit. And then eventually it was increased so we could hold 149 people total in that facility. Our average daily population back in those days was between 75 and 82 beds. Then eventually that grew to about 125 to 138 beds. But that wasn't the top limit because at one point we had 166 inmates housed in that facility. And to be honest, some were moved to other locations. But that's the top number that we ever held for an average daily population. I gave you all the latest jail stats. You have those before you, the latest that were printed out. And they have the stats for all the facilities in the state of Maryland up until March. I just got April's today. And our average daily population is the same as the previous 3 months that were reported. So we have been maintaining a steady number there in around the 60 range, 62, 63, somewhere around that range. Ever since the Juvenile Reinvestment Act took place, it has a profound effect on the populations of all the facilities in the state, with the exception of 1 or 2, and also the state prison system, because I remember the days when we call it the DOC, state prison system, they had upwards of about 30,000, 35,000 inmates. Now they're down in the 20s, and I think on 1 or 2 occasions they went just below that. So that decreased the number of people that were held. That whole bill was designed to try to not have this just throw away, lock them up type mentality to try to make steps to help improve those who want to improve, because you can't make those improve the one who don't want to, because we have a number of people, once you have them in, they go out the door, they're right back into criminal activity again. But there's a certain population that once you get them in and you try to supply the right programs and stuff for those individuals, some of them will come out and make something out of their lives. But I understand when they go back out, they're going right back into the same environment that put them in there in the first place. So it's a challenge for them to do it, but some do, and that's a wonderful thing. Our pre-release program. I have a report that was done by Dave Dawkins, and I'll just read the highlights of his report. In the calendar year 2024, our unit has investigated and assessed 220 individuals prior to their bail review hearings. Of this count, 51 individuals were released by the courts and placed under our supervision. Of the 51 individuals placed under supervision in 2024, 26 cases have reached court disposition and end of supervision, with 25 individuals being actively supervised. There are 3 goals of supervision: help to ensure the individual's appearance in court as required, remain crime-free during supervision, and demonstrate substantial compliance with any special conditions of supervision. And for those who may not understand what pretrial release is, there was a time when people back in the day would serve time prior to their sentence, months, sometimes over a year, in the facility. And there were some that had very low bond. I remember we had a guy that had a $100 bond, $150 bond. He couldn't get that up. So he stayed with us for about 8 months before his trial came to pass. So this allows those individuals who qualify, and the report is presented before the judges, and the judges determine whether or not they'll let them out under 3 levels of supervision, some from the most minimum to the maximum. And when we go to the maximum, we're talking about GPS monitoring, more frequent interaction more frequent interaction with the caseworkers, and it just goes on. So, having said that, of the 26 individuals where supervision was concluded, 22 successfully completed supervision, with 4 failing to successfully complete supervision, such as unsuccessful completion as defined as failure to appear in court as required, incurring new criminal and jailable traffic charges, or failure to comply with special conditions of release, behavioral health treatment, or no contact with the victim conditions. Average number of days under supervision is 44 days. Our year-to-date success rate of 85% is in line with historical data from previous years. So it's been a successful program, and it's saved the taxpayers undue amounts of costs in the facility to be housed there. So the other good benefit is if we have somebody that has certain types of medical conditions that can be done not within, and their charges of such, they can go home, be under supervision, and it doesn't cost the taxpayers for their medical care. So that's one of the benefits of doing that. And so I'm glad that we were able to put that program together. There's some counties that don't have it, but it's been a benefit to us, and we want to continue to try to work that to make it the way it is. And that's how that goes. Now, the MAT program. Currently, 17 inmates on the program as of 5/21/24.
Gordon, that's an acronym that stands for what?
Medical Assisted Treatment. The program is maintained in cooperation with Dr. Eric Weintraub and his staff from the University of Maryland Medical System, and our on-site RN Laura Jones, with the assistance of the WellPath, who we contract to do our medical services. They all work together. We have submitted a grant for the continued MAT funding, known as and this might sound a little strange, PIGFA grant. And that means the Performance Incentive Grant Fund, with the assistance of Mimi Belcher and Hannah Smith and Cindy Moore, and Jeff Rank, and Justine Frazen. And the reason I mention all those names, when you apply for certain types of grants, they want to see, costs and figures of how you maintain things, whatever else. They want to know the whole system of the county, how it works and all. And it's a lot of work doing the grant. Yeah. And, I don't know. But we're required by law to do it. There's a federal mandate and a state mandate to supply that. So every county in this state has to do it. And I believe that the Department of Corrections is going to be eventually required to do it. They weren't in the initial bill, and now they're going to have to do it because they're doing it in other states. The current grant that we're under, called the Moore Grant, expires June 30th, 2024. So hopefully we'll hear some good news as far as how that goes. But we did a lot of work to get that grant together, and I want to thank Jeff Rank, along with his staff, for helping us to get the figures, because there were a lot of figures that they wanted to find out how to do this. And they did a background on me even, so, that's what was involved. So anyhow, now the one I know we want to talk about before I get into anything else is the regional jail project. And Alan's here just in case to help answer some questions that you may have. But when we have been working through this thing, and on March the 4th, Alan and I went down to the House Capital Budget Committee for the initial funding of the project. We also had to turn around and go back on March the 5th. And we went to the House Capital Budget session and to the Senate Capital Budget session. And we were there and showed our faces. To be honest, Alan, they never called us up, I don't believe, but we had to be there just in case. On March 14th, Todd Mon and myself, we went down to the Board of Public Works, am I correct on that? To the State House. In order to be present, we had to do a short testimony before the governor and his staff. And at that point, we got the anointment that the county was going to get that property because of that. And I believe that we have for the next fiscal year, $10 million that has been granted by the capital budget folks. But there's some steps we have to go through. And on April 10th, Laura Allen from the Department of Budget Management reached out to Alan to talk about the project. And I want to tell you, this man is great. He's picked up on things, and the engineering part of it, some of it's Greek to me, but he's been really great in trying to, and he's educating me, I'm educating him. But he knows a whole lot. I'm telling on you, Alan, so I just want you to know. Okay. On May 20th, we had the honor of being the first people in the state to have a training that's called the Capital Budget Process Training. And that meant that now we have to do a different way of applying for projects through the state. We were the first to do it. The other states are going to follow. But I guess we were the guinea pigs, so that's what we did. And it's a little complicated parts of it, but we'll get through it. But we have to have a submission, and all the counties in the state have to have a submission by July the 15th of this year at the latest. And that's all the local county governments have to have that submission. So already we've done the part 1 and part 2. That's been submitted. That's worked out fine. I've been in touch with the 2 other counties because there's some additional things we need to provide by the July 15th to try to show what the importance is of the project. We found out at the last minute that there was a longer approval process for this, which we weren't aware of in the beginning. So we want to try to get there and try to convince them how important this project is, and so we can get it moving forward. Because I know one of the counties is really in a critical situation, and Todd and I have been involved with that somewhat. And it's just really right now, at this point, all the counties that have been named are still want to move forward with this project. But again, having said that, it's a lot of work that still has to be done. Even if we get the approval from the state, which I'm certain we will eventually, it's still a matter of how we 3 come together and work out whatever differences there are, costs, management, all that type of things, because you have 3 different counties, 3 different types of government. We know how that goes. And we need to work those situations out, which I think we can do. Might take a little bit more work, but we can do that. I think I've covered everything right out on that. Okay. And the last thing, I'll just let you know, and I won't really delve on that too much. We have two items that we normally have to contend with every year, and one of them, and every 3 years with another. Number one is the inspection or audit by the Maryland Commission on Correctional Standards. You have right there the notice that we have complied with all 100%, all that was required of us to follow under the state standards. I won't go into what all those are, but all the counties in the state that have correctional institutions must follow those guidelines. And there's several hundred that must be done. And we managed to get that done in the last audit, which it takes a great work, and it's the staff that really makes that happen, not just me, but the staff. The other thing is that we've completed 100% all of our required training for this period. Now, we have to take some more firearms later in the year, but our firearms qualifications are equal to that to the sheriff's departments and other police agencies. We managed to get that through in the training commission when I was there, to make those equal. So now my firearms instructors can train the town police or the deputies and vice versa. So we're allowed to do that. So we do night firing just as much as the police do, all of that. And all our certified officers that right now are certified to carry firearms only for transports. They don't carry them in the building, but it's only for transports because that's when we take these people out, and that's the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous parts of the job, when you have to transport these people to Baltimore City, any place in the state. We've gone out to Westminster, we've gone all the way down to Southern Maryland. Obviously, we've been down to Salisbury and those other jurisdictions. And because of our location, percentage-wise, we do more transports percentage-wise than most other jurisdictions on the shore. So, it takes a lot for a small agency to do that, but we've been able to manage. We had three units out today, 6 officers on the road. And unfortunately, one of our, on the transport going down to Salisbury, one of our officers had a medical emergency, and they had to get her into the hospital. But she's recovering, and she'll be okay. So, it takes a lot to do that. So that's pretty much. If you have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer.
Pretty thorough.
Yeah. So just to finish up, so I think you're downplaying your credentials and the time served. Why don't you share just real quick with the folks that don't know some of the other boards that you sit on relating to corrections in the state of Maryland?
Okay.
He hates when I do this.
I know, you put me on the spot because normally I have to read a script. No, I'm just telling you. But I just finished my long-term service as a vice chairman on the Maryland Police and Correctional Training Commission, which is the agency that oversees training for all police, corrections, juvenile justice people, parole and probation, other state agencies. The state police have their own separate training academy, but we, our two commissions do that. Right now, I've just been appointed as vice chair of the Kent County Police Accountability Board, unanimously, and everybody's like looking around. Who wants to be? I wasn't going to say anything. But they got me on that. I'm also on the MACO Planning Committee, that's the Maryland Association of Counties. I think I'm the first public safety person that's ever served on that, and I really felt honored. I was shocked when I was approached about it. I'm like, why me? And they told me, you know why. So I went ahead and I've served on that 8 years maybe now. And, that's been really great looking at things other than public safety, and have the experience, when you look at, agriculture and you're looking at, structural things other than what I normally do. That's been great. Was former chief deputy of the Kent County Department of Sheriff's Department. Also, the first person to serve twice as the president of the Maryland, let me get this straight, Maryland Association of Wardens. I'll put it that way. It's a different title, but that, gosh, I can't, I'm just going on and on, but it's just been, I've just been honored.
We're certainly lucky that you're running the show for us here and the credentials and the time that you've committed. And it's appreciated, that's for sure.
Thank you all. Y'all have been really supportive of me, even the Board of Commissioners that served before you all have. If it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't be here. But, really, really glad that I did come to Queen Anne's. I still can go up to Kent County at home, but, come here every day and serve and do what I need to do. But I want to stress, if it wasn't for the staff that I've had, I wouldn't be sitting here now, to be honest with you. It's not all about Lamont Cook.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lamont.
All right.
Commissioners, that's all we had this evening. You can kick it over to roundtable, or you want to do press and public comment?
Press and public comment.
Press and public comment, part 2. Anybody else sign up? Any
Like to speak?
emails?
Nobody? Anybody like to speak? Okay, we'll close press and public comment.
So I have a question.
Fire away.
We have a scout here. Why don't you come up, tell us who you are, why you're here? Have a seat.
Put him on the spot, Phil.
Yeah. So you're here because you have to be?
I need to get my communication merit badge.
Your communication badge.
Scout.
Gotcha. So tell us a little bit about your time with the Scouts and.
So I joined in first grade as a Cub Scout back in 2015. Been in it for nearing 10 years now. And currently I'm placed on Ken Island with Troop 278. And I'm also with Venture Crew 278 at the Legion.
Gotcha. So now is this badge or this patch that you're trying to get part of the trip to become an Eagle Scout?
Yes.
And how close are you?
I got my Eagle Scout project approved last Sunday.
Okay. So can you share with us what it is, or?
So my Eagle project, there's a little patch of grass on my road, and they placed a playground there, but it's lacking a bunch of safety features. So I am putting those in to hopefully make it a safer place and allow kids to play.
So you failed to tell us who you are. What is your name?
My name is Asher Desanya.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Asher Desanya.
Asher? So thank you very much for your commitment to the Scouts and to our community. So on behalf of the Queen Anne's County Commissioners, here's a Queen Anne's County Challenge coin, and good luck on achieving your Scout. Take care.
Thank you, Asher.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Dad.
That's my round table.
Roger that. Okay. Patrick, you got anything for roundtable?
I don't want to steal your thunder, Mr. President, but
Then-
I had an opportunity.
What you're going to.
What I'm going to. I just went to a phenomenal unveiling of the Veterans Memorial next to the Bridges Restaurant, and I'll let Commissioner speak
go
more
ahead.
of it.
No,
Well,
I
you
got
you were
other
part
things
of
I'll
it.
talk about. Yeah, that's okay. Fire away.
It's
not short of words.
Take the
Yeah,
lead.
yeah, I know.
We're in the summertime. Jim's got plenty to talk about.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to meet Mike Foster, who I had never met before. Seems like a great American, and just a plethora of veterans and people that came out to share in the unveiling of the new flag that went up. So if you get a chance, I would just recommend that everybody have a look at the new memorial down by Bridges Restaurant. I don't know exactly that area.
Wells Cove.
Wells
Wells
Cove.
Cove, yeah.
Wells Cove. And I would be remiss not to mention that my son graduates from Chesapeake College with his associates with a concentration in architecture, and my daughter graduated Friday, summa cum laude, from Chestertown Christian School. So very proud of my kids. Thank you.
Jack, you want anything, or you?
I'm going to yield most of my time. I just wanted to say, Miss Margie, I'm going to miss sitting next to you with probably one of the longest commissioners you've got to sit next to, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Lucky her.
Yeah.
Enjoy your retirement and make sure you come back and see us.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
I just want to say goodbye to Margie as well. Well, it's not really goodbye, because we'll see you again. And I'm sure, like, she's going to come to press and public comment with some couple things that she wants to say about all the commissioners now that she's free to say it.
She's got like 13 years
She's been
worth stored
building
up.
up.
So for the folks that were listening to what was read about Margie, her last day is in September, but technically her last day is in September, but today's her last meeting because she has accrued so much time off.
Yep.
And we tried to institute use it or lose it type of thing, but it didn't fly well with her, so. Anyway, we're going to miss you, Margie.
She got all that grandfather. She's been here for 35 years.
September 2025, right?
There you go.
Gonna miss the TAWs. Yeah, but you won't miss makeup. No. There you go. Very good. Very good. That's all that matters. All right. Well, I guess I'll start with, like you said, the Veterans Memorial. Mike Foster, who owns Bridges Restaurant, is an attorney, and he has a client who passed away who was a World War II veteran, Navy, that had no children, no family, and wanted to make sure that he left instructions with Mr. Foster to spend this money over the years on different projects promoting and helping veterans. So Mike called me actually 2 years ago. We tried to get this started, but he didn't have enough time because he has to spend the money in a certain amount of time. But so he called me last October about this project and wanted to see if we could get it off the ground, and we did. County Administrator Todd Mon, myself, the Department of Public Works, Walt Petrie from Pier 1, Eric Johnson from VAMSA. It was a village project, so anybody gets an opportunity to go down and see it, it's beautiful. It's big. The flag is big, and yesterday in those gale winds, I thought we were going to lose a couple people holding on to the flags. So yesterday was just a ceremony so that you could put the flag on it and fly it, but November 11th at 11 a.m., they're going to dedicate it with bands, you name it. It's going to be a nice event. So,
What's the significance of November 11th? Veterans Day?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good one, Phil. Good one. And you'll be there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so, that's that, but I guess we'll talk about the bridge. Is that what you want, Jack?
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay, so this was the first weekend that we actually put up a full weekend where we put up the ramp closures to Route 8 and the chart cameras. Long story short is saying that it's working. We had a 16-mile backup, and yesterday with the 16-mile backup, and when I say 16 miles, that's on Route 50. 301 was backed up to 213. And it's just, I can't figure it out. I don't understand why people in Ocean City or in the beaches, they all want to leave at the same time, and they come to one choke point at the same time. So with those backups, and it's because I was at Wells Cove for the flag raising and left there around 2 o'clock and went home. And at 5 o'clock, I said, you know what, to the wife, let's go see how far we can get down Route 18. I live off of Bennett Point Road. Jumped in the truck, came out, no cars. Came by Nesbitt, 1 or 2 vehicles coming out, still no backup. Drove all the way down to Winchester. Is it Winchester Creek? Is it Winchester Creek? Yeah. Winchester Creek, and again, 1 or 2 cars. Kept going. Now, the bridge was up. The drawbridge was up at the Ken Narrow, so that stopped traffic. But once it went down, it was smooth sailing until I got to Dominion with the red light. And after I got through the red light, which was 2 cycles, I was fearing what I was going to see as we went over top of Route 50 and came upon Castle Marina, the roundabout, because that was our concern was as a choke point. There was 2 patrol cars there and not another car in sight. I can't figure this out. So we went all the way down. It took us 21 minutes. It normally takes us about 17. Took us about 21 minutes to get to Route 8. Turned around, went into Duke Street, and the funny thing was most of the people with Washington, D.C. tags, Virginia tags, and a couple New Jersey tags thought that they could cut into Duke Street. And the minute they turned into Duke Street, and it's funny because a couple of homeowners were just sitting at their front doors laughing. They turned into Duke Street, they saw the road closed and blocked, and they turned around and had to go back out. So people are learning, but I went up to the police officer there, the deputy that was there, and I asked him, I said, any chance you could shoot radar for me? Because I'd like to know how fast the cars are traveling on Route 50 westbound. He goes, well, I can't do that. He says, but I can give you my best guess of 30 plus years of being an officer. And he says he didn't see it go any slower than 25 miles an hour, but most of it around 30 to 35 miles an hour. and that's working. I mean, it's just that amount of volume, it's unfortunate, but we had no, with that kind of backup, we had no log jams at all at Casa Marina. The CHART program for the Maryland, who owns CHART? MDTA?
It's MDOT.
MDOT. If you go on CHART, it's got cameras all up and down Route 50 and the Bay Bridge, and anywhere you can think of where there's a camera, you can see the traffic. But it also goes, if it's a backup like Route 50, the road stays red. So it was red from the Bay Bridge all the way back almost to Easton. But Route 18 was green. So it tells us that it's working. I got one email today, and Beth is sitting back there. I don't know how many she got, but I got one email today. It was very polite, just, I'm in the medical profession, and I work in Annapolis, and my son plays sports in Annapolis. And I said, well, you're going to get some added time to your trip. It might be another 5, it might be 10, it might be 15 minutes added to your trip. But everybody in the rest of the county, Queenstown, Graysonville, Chester, that normally would take an hour to get to Safeway, now can go out on weekends and try it. Now, I don't know what next weekend holds, and I thank God the weather was not too bad, because that always plays into it. And this is not a long-term fix, but we're going to ride this as far as we can to keep people from being locked into their homes as this study, phase 2 of the NEPA goes along. So,
Jim, quick question. Down at the outlets, across the outlets, where 50 and 18,
Yep.
near the outlets, did they close that crossover?
Yes, that is closed.
Okay.
And it's closed all the way up by Easton also in a couple locations.
Okay.
So it stops people go down through Y Mills and again, jams it up. So, the plan is for this big holiday weekend, it's working. One thing we might have to consider, because normally, and Chris, you sent it first to me, I think it was on Saturday, about, normally when the state tells these agencies, these navigation agencies, that we're closing a road down, so that what happens when you get in a backup and you come up on Nesbitt or Winchester Creek or the Kent Narrows, if you're hitting your GPS, your Waze, your Google, it'll tell you jump off on 18 and go down to Route 8 and jump on get on the bridge. Well, when the road's closed, it doesn't do that, because it knows Route 50 is the fastest. Well, I had it yesterday. I sat in Bridges after we ran down through there. I went back to Bridges, and I hit my phone to say, okay, I want to go to Annapolis, and it took me 18 all the way down to Route 8 ramp, so it wasn't showing it as closed, which really made me blow my mind, because I'm saying, well, if it's not showing it's closed, where is all the traffic? And the messaging that's going on along Route 50 by the signs, the messaging from last year, and from what's going on now with anytime you call baseband or anyone else, is working. I mean, I hope it continues to work. It is a huge relief for the citizens, and I mean, I've had some, I've seen some posts where people are actually saying that. They're like, it's working. So I guess that 2.5 hour town hall we had is working too. So, I just ask people to be patient. I mean, there's probably going to be that one day when something goes wrong, or the weather, or an accident, but so far we've got a game plan, and we're going to continue with that throughout the rest of the year. We'll see what happens. I will tell you though, I went to my office on Saturday. It's over on the other side, Western Shore. I had to meet somebody, and when I came back, 50 was backed up at the Seven Rivers. So I said, well, let me jump in and go through Annapolis and go the back way to 450 Bridge and come back up that way. And as I did that, there were some other cars doing it, but now Anne Arundel County, along with the State Highway Administration, has added 2 red lights. And those 2 red lights are deadly, because they stay red for a long time. And those are back in, and I wish I could remember the name of the communities, but it's the back way as you're coming out.
Around St. Margaret's, like
St. Margaret's.
Red Hot and Blue up that way.
Yeah, but you go all the way back in there. So beware of those red lights, because they've got that, they're there now. So anybody that thinks they're going to get around them, you're not. So stay out on 50. So, well, that's all I got. Unless anybody has any other comments.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Wait, Margie. Why don't you make the motion to adjourn? Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.